This is you, and this is the girl you like, and this is her heart. If this heart has a lock, then in today's video, I will give you the key. If you zoom out and look at all the girls in this world and how their lives are, you will notice one common thing that repeats a lot. Most of the ads they receive on their phones are for things like weight loss, skincare, or makeup. You'll see that a girl, from the moment she wakes up in the morning and looks in the mirror, can spend hours and hours in front of it putting on makeup and taking care of her appearance. They spend tons of money on their looks and on appearing beautiful. Why do you think they do that? Because all girls share one common trait. They want to gain the approval of others. This trait is an instinct deeply rooted in the genes of all women living on this planet. So as a man, if you can feed this instinct, it means the woman becomes yours. You've probably heard me say this many times. If you make a woman strive to gain your approval, it means she's yours. This rule is the key to every girl's heart, and this rule is the subject of today's video. Today, I will explain to you how to do it. But first, follow up with the dark needle so you don't miss out the next part, and start dominating and make her addicted to you. What you need to do when you're talking to a girl is to put her in a state where she is the one who wants to gain your approval. Now, many people will hear this sentence and feel intimidated, thinking it's very difficult. Well, I have good news and bad news for you. The good news is that this is one of the easiest things you can do to make a girl want to gain your approval, because this instinct is already within her. Just like ads can easily trick girls into spending their entire salaries on makeup and beauty products, you can easily make girls want to gain your approval because it's naturally ingrained in them. All you have to do is go with the flow, not against it. The bad news is that to do this, you have to watch this video to the end. But first, follow up with the dark needle so you don't miss out the next part, and start dominating and make her addicted to you. How do you put a girl in this state where she wants to gain your approval? There's a fundamental rule we need to start with, something related to your mindset that is essential to understand before discussing the method we'll use to put her in this state. Let me explain by giving you an example. Imagine I go up to someone and start saying, "I'm awesome, I'm rich, I'm famous, I'm smart," and then they respond by saying, "I'm awesome, I'm rich, I'm famous, I'm smart." How would I feel in this situation? I wouldn't like it. I'm giving you the ball and you're just throwing it back at me. In this case, neither I would admire you nor would you admire me. As humans, in our emotional relationships, there's always one party striving to gain the other's approval. And I know as a man, you might say now, no, if I like her and she likes me, we can both try to impress each other. But here, you're talking to me logically. But first, follow up with the dark needle so you don't miss out the next part, and start dominating and make her addicted to you. Women don't operate on logic in relationships. Dating in general is something illogical. It's governed by emotion. This is a rule I want you to keep in mind for the rest of your life. Relationships are a field governed by emotion. Therefore, the first thing is that you should not try to impress the girl. By the way, if you've been following the How to Attract Women series, you'll find that this is one of the first things I've told you. Because one of the most attractive traits in a man to a woman is that he isn't overly concerned with gaining her approval. The problem you might face now when you hear this advice is that if you're not someone used to talking to girls often, the moment you start talking to a girl, you'll forget everything I told you today and start trying to impress her. This happens because the modern world has placed such a high value on women, making you feel like she's better than you and that you need to earn her approval. Consequently, your subconscious mind is programmed to carry out this behavior. Now, to counteract this subconscious programming and apply what I've just told you, you need to understand something that exists within you. But first, follow up with the dark needle so you don't miss out the next part, and start dominating and make her addicted to you. This is an internal pressure. This pressure drives you to want to gain the girl's approval. The next time you talk to a beautiful girl, I want you to try what I'm about to tell you. When you're talking, try to think about this feeling that arises within you. The feeling of wanting to impress her. You'll feel an internal pressure, and this pressure pushes you toward trying to gain her approval. You'll feel it, and the first step to overcoming it is to acknowledge it. You need to be aware of it, because once you're aware of it, you can control how to direct it. Listen to me carefully now. I'm going to dive into your mind and explain how it works. That pressure you feel drives you to act in a certain way. This action might be telling her, "I'm awesome," or showing her in one way or another that you're special. Now, if you try to change this action, you'll fail. The moment you start talking to the girl, you'll forget everything. What you need to do is redirect this pressure. In other words, you need to shift the arrow of this behavior so that you don't try to impress her. How? But first, follow up with the dark needle so you don't miss out the next part, and start dominating and make her addicted to you. Need to shift the arrow of this behavior so that you don't try to impress her. How? Imagine you approach a girl and start talking to her. You'll feel that pressure urging you to try to impress her. At that moment, what I want you to do is think and tell yourself, if I want to impress her, I must not try to impress her. I know this might sound a bit confusing, but if you can make this shift in your mindset, you'll overcome this pressure. And please, trust me, you won't realize the value of this exercise until you try it yourself. So, when you feel that internal pressure urging you to impress the girl, think and say to yourself, herself, to impress her, I must not try to impress her. And of course, with time, this process will become automatic, and you won't even have to think about it. When you stop trying to gain her approval, you give her the space to want to gain your approval. What you need to do now is push her into that state. But first, follow up with the dark needle so you don't miss out the next part, and start dominating and make her addicted to you. Listen to me carefully now. Our recipe consists of 2 ingredients: not giving her validation while at the same time telling her what you like in a girl. Don't worry, I'll explain everything in detail and it will all become clear to you. The first point is to not give her validation immediately. Do you remember what I told you at the beginning of the video? A woman is a being who craves admiration and validation. This is something ingrained in her genes. Now, for her to want to earn your validation, you must first not give it to her easily. Why? Because from the start, she will try to earn your approval, and if you give it to her immediately, it ends the game. Meaning, don't like every post she shares on Instagram, don't comment on everything she posts, and don't appear obsessed with her. But before we dive deeper into this point, let me explain the entire recipe so you have a clear understanding, and then we'll move on to the application. But first, follow up with the dark needle so you don't miss out the next part, and start dominating and make her addicted to you. You must not give her validation, and at the same time, you need to tell her what you like in a girl's personality and appearance. When you do this, what happens to her? First, when she sees that you're not giving her validation, her internal instincts kick in. She starts thinking, why isn't he giving me validation? I need to make him admire me. How do I make him admire me? I have to do what he said he likes in girls. In other words, she tells herself, to get his approval, I have to do what he likes. Then, she starts doing the things you like. When she does this, she automatically enters a state where she's trying to gain your admiration. These 2 points must be combined together. So, to make this recipe work, you need to know how to cook it. There are certain rules you must follow. But first, follow up with the dark needle so you don't miss out the next part, and start dominating and make her addicted to you. Starts thinking, why isn't he giving me validation? I need to make him admire me. How do I make him admire me? I have to do what he said he likes in girls. In other words, she tells herself, to get his approval, I have to do what he likes. Then, she starts doing the things you like. When she does this, she automatically enters a state where she's trying to gain your admiration. These 2 points must be combined together. So, to make this recipe work, you need to know how to cook it. There are certain rules you must follow. The first condition is that when you tell her what you like in a girl, for example, that you like girls who wear dresses instead of pants, or introverted girls, or social ones, or those who don't wear too much makeup. A small portion of what you like should already exist in her, but not every. But first, follow up with the dark needle so you don't miss out the next part, and start dominating and make her addicted to you. 40% of the things you like should be present in her, and 60% should not. In other words, don't make it seem like you don't like anything about her, because that would make you appear intolerable and insincere. Look, you need to understand something important about girls. When a girl is attractive, almost anything she does gets validation from men. Let's say a girl wears a shirt. Any guy who talks to her will tell her the shirt looks good on her. So when you don't give her validation and tell her instead that you like girls who wear dresses, she'll start thinking, why isn't he giving me validation? I need to make him admire me. How can I do that? I need to do what he said he likes in girls. In other words, she tells herself. But first, follow up with the dark needle so you don't miss out the next part, and start dominating and make her addicted to you.